What is up? It's week 15. If you're watching this, you are a serious Dynasty fantasy football player. And that's exactly what we are going to be talking about today is Dynasty fantasy football, as we do every week. And as I'm joined by the one who answers more questions maybe than anybody over the course of a week. I'd be shocked if anybody does that consistently.
I don't think so, because I don't think anyone else is having their Twitter account turned off for answering too many questions. The Twitter algorithm thinks that I'm a robot because I answer too many questions. I'm too available for the people.
He is spamming people left and right by answering their questions. He is Tyler at DLF_carp. The first comment today goes to Ed. It's Taco Tuesday. This is Ask DLF. We're going to answer a lot of those questions. So a lot of those questions that you answer even start today on a Tuesday during this show. If you have questions, you can get them into the live chat. If you're watching on Twitter, we can't see your questions if you can ask them. So make sure you come over to YouTube. You can find it on my Twitter or on Tyler's Twitter. You could find it anywhere on the internet, basically. If you just search Ask DLF, you'll find us. And also, while we're answering your questions or talking about whatever you want to talk about, we want you to answer our question this week. Who is going to be the fantasy playoff hero this year in 2021? Who do you think that's going to be on this Taco Tuesday, or for our Australian friends,
Waffle Wednesday?
Or if you're watching it later, maybe it's Waffle Wednesday. Who knows? You're watching it tomorrow. So I found this interesting. I actually pulled up, Tyler, last year. I don't think a lot of people, I don't remember that if you had the Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs combo,
I remember
in the playoffs, you probably won.
I remember. Let's just say I remember.
Highest scoring wide receiver. Alvin Kamara, highest scoring running back during the
I remember that
playoffs.
too. I remember his 6 touchdowns. I remember that.
A lot of it was that one
7.
game. Yep. And then Kelsey, the highest scoring tight end. I remember, David Montgomery was the one that I remember. Didn't score as much as Alvin Kamara, but he had that one high game. But yeah, David Montgomery, Jonathan Taylor, not too far behind.
Jeff Wilson.
Jeff Wilson's here. Yep. He was a RB1 over the fantasy playoffs last year. So who do you guys think that's going to be this year in 2021? So let's get started with the show. We've got one here from New York Fire. Is that right?
New York Fight Exchange.
Fight Exchange. Like. Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking Fire. Okay. Anyway.
No.
Oh yeah, there we go. It's right there. I'm an idiot. Sorry, we're not off to a great start. This is.
Okay.
I'm usually pretty good at that part. New York Fight Exchange. What's up, fellas? Is Josh Palmer a good stash? Will he move up in the depth chart after Mike Williams moves on in free agency, if that happens?
Yeah, I mean, he would be a good stash, I think. Right? I mean, I don't know if they're going to be able to re-sign Mike Williams. He's some, inconsistency. Probably be expensive. They might try. If they do, that'll kind of put a little bit of a damper on Josh Palmer.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I like him. He finally flashed this week, scored a touchdown, moved him up in my rankings. But, I don't know if he's going to be the kind of guy you can ever really rely on.
Yeah.
So, is what it is.
I think at least in the mind of the Chargers front staff, that like they're hoping that that's what he is, right? They're hoping that's why they took him where they did. They were hoping he would have a chance to move up on the depth chart and be what they wanted Mike Williams to be before, right? Like they wanted Mike Williams to be that deep threat. He played some different roles this year, but they were hoping I think that Josh Palmer can be a better version of what they got the first few years of Mike Williams.
Yeah, I don't think that they expected Mike Williams to play as well this year as he did. I think that kind of may have altered their plans. I mean, that happens sometimes. You pick players to replace other players, and then those original players do better than you expected, and those players don't replace them. I mean, this happens quite frequently.
Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good example.
Fantasy Condo says Taco Tuesday. That's right. What's up, Fantasy Condo? Good to see you here. Real Fantasy TL. Good to see you. Says, what's up, fellas? What's up? Yeckersley. What type of player pick would you trade for Rashad Penny if you're decimated at running back after the bye week. I cannot believe this is a question we're getting in 2021, but we're here.
I can. I mean, I can believe it. I don't know. I mean, what are you going to do? Give up a 3rd round pick, I guess, is what it's going to cost, right?
I don't think you can give up more than that.
Yeah.
Somewhere, somebody is still hanging on to him when they drafted him in the 1st round of their rookie drafts, whenever he came out, and this is their moment.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. It's one game, but the draft capital gives me some hope that it might stick.
Yep. And surprise, surprise, his head coach is talking positively, very optimistically about how great he's going to be.
Wow. Stunning.
So out of character. Ed Franz. Josh Palmer's for sure a nice stash. 3rd round pick, still 2022, and made a little noise when he got time. Still just 2020. Still just 22. All right, I'm having a rough start to the show. We're going to get there. P2 Thar, here we go. Time for another great show. Great to see you guys. Great to see you, P2 Thar. Gator sends basic lineup advice for round 1. Okay, this is not typically what we do, but I know. Have you looked at your positional rankings for the week?
Yes.
Okay, so we can do some of this at least here. So Justin Herbert or Mahomes and Keenan Allen, or Josh Conner, pending health.
James Conner? Dude, Cal.
What did I say?
Josh Conner. You're getting tired today. Well, Herbert over Mahomes, and then Allen was taken off the COVID list. Conner is getting an MRI, so I'll play Allen.
Okay. Very good. Clue 10123. What is the most succession like, aka cutthroat moments to happen while you play Dynasty? Okay, so I actually just started watching this show. Have you seen this show?
No, I kind of get the sense of what it might be about.
Yeah, it's pretty simple, I guess. Simple concept. I just started watching this like literally like a week ago. So I'm still, I think I'm towards the end of season 1.
Yeah, I don't watch a lot of TV.
Yeah.
Most of my
so far.
Well, I like watching myself. I watch this show and I watch my other shows. That's usually what I watch. I don't watch too much else.
I think you would be good. Like, if you were going to base a show on cutthroat Dynasty fantasy moves, like, you would probably be a good person to follow around. You do a, like,
yeah. I always say that I don't play Dynasty leagues to make friends. Somehow I've made a few in spite of that. But, I've definitely also rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. I don't care.
You. No, I don't believe it.
I'd rather title and not have the friends than no title and a bunch of friends.
Ryan.
Sorry.
Oh, well, we didn't give a good example of this. I don't know if
there's so many times where I couldn't even. I don't have a good one. I don't have like that one moment. I don't have one really bad moment. But I'm always like this. You can ask the few people who've played with me. I'm ruthless.
This is Clue. I like this. I love this idea. I love this thought. There's this moment, this isn't a spoiler, but there's this moment where it's like a good deal, like a good business deal that like one of the sons is trying to make, and the dad is like, "Why is everyone happy?" And the son's like, "It means it's a good deal. Both sides got what they wanted." And he's like, "Okay, then that's a bad deal. You go back and ask for more." And that is, I can see that happening in Dynasty. Like, I can see that happening for some people. There being some cutthroat moments like that take place.
Yeah.
I like where your head is, Clue. Let's work on that. Ryan says 12 team Superflex. I received Derek Carr, not David Carr, J.K. Dobbins, Terry McLaurin, and a second for Tom Brady, Tyreek Hill, and Aaron Jones on a rebuilding team.
Okay.
Any thoughts?
I like it. I don't want Brady on a rebuilding team. I don't want Aaron Jones.
You don't want Aaron Jones either, yeah.
No, Aaron Jones we really don't want. Tyreek Hill, I still like him. But I don't know. This is I'd rather have the other side. If I'm rebuilding, it is what it is.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill and Terry McLaurin are closer in age than I think most people realize that they are. So yes, you get maybe a year younger, but it's the Dobbins part for me that makes this deal really good. He's my favorite buy.
I guess a rebuild. It's really going from Brady to Carr. I mean, Brady is a dead dynasty asset. So I mean, he's gonna be 45?
For like 5 years, right? I mean, that's
yeah. I don't think so.
Yeah.
So I guess I'd have to go to the other side.
Jared Goodman, Godwin, fantasy playoff hero. Chris Godwin.
Sure.
Good idea.
He's been good all year.
Yeah, he has. That's okay. Alvin Kamara was good last year. Then he was
that's true. I mean, sometimes the playoff heroes are the ones who were good all along. I do think it's more interesting, though, when the playoff hero, like Tim Hightower, is someone who was not good all year.
Yeah.
Still remember that. That one I still remember.
Tim Hightower.
That one I won't forget.
There was one of the years I'm gonna have to go back and look. I want to say C.J. Anderson had like a crazy playoff run.
28. That was when Gurley started to wear down.
Yeah.
And C.J. Anderson came in. There was also Damian Williams that same year. Just came out of nowhere.
Yes.
Kenyon
Drake one year. This is 2019. Kenyon Drake was the #1 running back during fantasy playoff time.
Yeah, he had that 8-game stretch where he actually held up as a workhorse.
Right.
For once in his life.
Right. Cool. This is good. Good stuff. JB Cho. He's awesome. I'm in a couple leagues with this guy. Hey guys, no question. Just wanted to see y'all rock. You're the best. Appreciate you doing that.
Thank you.
Score Daryl. What a nickname. That's the first time I've heard that. Did you make that up or did you hear that somewhere? I had not heard that yet. Score Daryl about to turn it up a notch.
Not with his recent usage.
Oh, are you worried about?
Yeah.
Score Daryl?
A little bit. The receptions are down. The receptions are down.
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah. He would not be on my list of people who are going to turn it up a notch.
Interesting. I was trying to pull up and see his last few games here. He's been scoring though, right? Is that?
Yeah, he's been scoring. But if you're relying on touchdowns and you're not getting receptions, are what you want. That's why he was so valuable.
Yeah. Interesting. So yeah, it seems like that offense is having a hard time throwing the ball to anybody.
Oh, I wonder why.
Yeah,
I wonder why.
Who do you think we can blame for that one?
Honestly, the previous general manager.
Yeah, good idea.
If you really want the answer to that question, it's the previous general manager. He's the one who put them in this situation.
Christian Mishu, I'm going to go with. Just secured the 101 in a super flex next year. Strong at quarterback, wide receiver, and tight end. A window isn't likely until 23 or 24. Why? If you're strong at those positions, why isn't your window?
How can you be strong at everything, but your window is years from now? That doesn't sound right.
No, you do not go. Okay, I'll just ask, do I go running back with 101 in 2022 or go for value with best available?
You go for value, like always. I mean, that could be a running back this year. I mean, if there's no quarterback selected in the top 10 of the NFL draft, it's possible that in a super flex league, the 101 is a running back. I mean, that's possible. Yeah, it's possible it could be a wide receiver. This is a strong wide receiver class, weak running back class, weak quarterback class. So, yeah, I mean, you go for value, but I don't have no idea who that's going to be. I mean, I'm not even going to know who that's going to be on April 14th, let alone on December 14th. I'm not a Devy analyst. So like, I'm going to catch up on the prospects the best I can. Obviously, I know about the best ones. I know about those. Some of the ones you're going to see in the first round. I know who those players are.
Right.
Although less so this year, because there have been a lot of people like Spencer Rattler, who I knew going into the year, who have just completely faded off the radar. So unfortunately, a lot of the players that I kind of had an eye on have not followed through.
Right.
So I'm probably even less familiar this year than I was, say, like I had seen, for example, I'd seen like not Josh Jacobs, but David Montgomery, and mostly David Montgomery, like in 2019, coming from a mile away. I mean, I knew N'Keal Harry. He busted, but I knew N'Keal Harry was coming. AJ Brown. I knew AJ Brown was coming. I was prepared for these players. Last year, I knew, or 2 years, I knew Jamar Chase, he didn't have to play. I knew he was coming. I was ready for that. I was ready for him. Like I knew about him. Devonta Smith was someone I knew. I knew who that was. Whereas this year, I feel like I'm going to have much more unknown. Like, Jalen Waddle, I knew who that was. Like this year, I feel like I'm looking at the names and I'm like, these are a bunch of nobodies. So, maybe obviously there are going to be people telling me, oh, there's this guy, but quite a few of the guys who were big on the radar, with Spencer Rattler obviously being the biggest, didn't really work out. So we'll have to see. But I'm not happy with this class at the moment, especially mostly in Superflex. I think in 1 QB it'll be okay because the depth at the receiver position is strong. But so the quarterback situation in this class is bad, really, really bad. It's a bad year to need quarterback in Superflex. You might not get a starter. Like there might not be a week 1 starting quarterback in this class. There might be 0 of those. So you just have to prepare for that.
Feels like an anomaly, right? I mean, I don't know that we've had
that's a huge anomaly. What was the last class that didn't have a week 1 starter?
That's a good question. We'd have to do some research on that.
That didn't have someone who gave you a start week 1. This year, there were 3 players who ended up starting week 1. Lawrence,
and 5
Wilson,
we wanted
and
to,
Jones.
right? Like,
yeah. 5 you wanted, but 3 who gave you a start week 1, and then another one, a 4th, who gave you starts for most of this year. So, but you're lucky if you get 2 players you want next year. So
I think you're looking at like Isaiah Spiller, Breece Hall, Kyron Williams, Kenneth Walker are the ones that I pulled up here on the as far as rankings.
I know who those players are, especially Breece Hall.
Yeah,
Spiller.
As far as running back for Christian, but I think we have to see like all who declares all those things. Like,
I mean, the declare deadline is somewhere in January, and that's usually when I start my rookie process. Actually, I start my rookie process when the declared deadline passes, and I know who is in the class, who's not in the class, and then I start ranking.
Yeah, unless for some reason, Christian, you got to make this decision right now. I think let's just keep looking through that and. The 101 you may ultimately want to trade it anyway. I mean,
it's going to be an interesting discussion, I think, this year, because I don't think there's going to be the same. People want draft picks every year, but I don't think there's going to be the same fervor for draft picks this year.
This will be a test, because I feel like we've said this a bunch of times in the Dynasty community, and then by the time you get to the draft, it's like everybody kind of has who they fall in love with, and this is going to be a test. Like sometimes
people
that
are
turns
always
into
want the top picks. But I do feel like there have been years like 2019 where people were kind of, I don't have any first round picks in this draft. Oh, that's okay. Yeah. That's okay. I can live with that. Whereas that was not the case the last 2 years.
Had a lot of people just joining us. If you are here, welcome. Thank you. If it's your first time, what we're doing is we're going to be answering questions for the next roughly hour and a half. And we are going to do our best to talk about.
I don't mind giving them a bit of bonus time. It's playoffs.
Yeah, Dynasty fantasy football, and we also have a question for you. Question of the week: who is going to be the fantasy playoff hero this year, a la Alvin Kamara and some of the other ones we've been talking about from the years past? Interesting question from Bradley Rockhill. What about the Bears backfield versus the Ravens over the next couple of years? Dynasty-wise, rank them.
I want Dobbins over Montgomery. I guess I don't.
Me too, and that might be controversial.
Yeah. I don't think it is anymore.
It might not be anymore, but
as we're getting closer and closer to the season being over, I think that's the ranking that it's going to be. Dobbins had a higher ADP even in November.
That's true. I just pulled that up. That's interesting. Yeah,
and that was November.
Yep.
Monty has not been so great. It wasn't great this week anyway.
I loved how he started, battled some injuries. I'm going to be curious to see where things shake out for him as far as where his ADP goes this offseason.
Yeah.
James, thoughts on trying to buy low on Trey Lance? I'm not contending this year.
I'd like to do that, but what's low? Mm-hmm. I feel like still, even now, people are hanging on to the value of Trey Lance.
What is it about him that you think is pulling his value down? I guess what for you makes him not as valuable? Just the fact that he hasn't seen the field yet?
For me? I still think I would be buying low It's just a question of what's low. You know, I'm saying that I think it's difficult to do that. I think people are still in on Lance. I really don't think. I think people are more displeased with what they've seen from fair or unfair, that they're more displeased with what they've seen from Wilson, Fields, and Lawrence than seeing nothing at all, especially Lawrence.
I think that's true. I think, I know there was a week where we talked about Trey Lance, and I was a little bit higher on buying him than you were.
I'd rather buy Lawrence.
Okay. Interesting.
I know that Trevor Lawrence is good. I have no idea if Trey Lance is good. Trevor Lawrence, I'm 100% confident is good, is talented. If he were in the right situation, he would succeed. Trey Lance, I have no confidence in that. I mean, the only reason that I like Trey Lance is that he would be a fantasy cheat code if he worked out. It's if Jalen Hurts had draft capital.
Right. Yes.
That's really what it is.
Great way to say it. Not only draft capital, but like you have to factor in how much they gave up to get him too. I mean, that's correct. That is an organization invested.
Correct. I mean, he has to get a chance to start, right? I mean, otherwise everyone there is going to be fired. So it's correct. No, I totally factor that in. And I don't know. I mean, is he better than Jalen Hurts? Probably. He was a better prospect. He has better legs. I mean, I think he's better at everything. Slightly. But we don't know that. That's just, I think. I don't know.
It's true. I mean, he definitely has. He's got some things where he limited starts in college. There were little things that probably I'm glad they took their time and didn't throw him in there too early if they didn't feel like he was ready. And Garoppolo's been serviceable.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we've seen what Jalen Hurts' ceiling is. It's one of the best quarterbacks in fantasy. But I do think that Trey Lance's ceiling is a healthy Kyler Murray. I think that's Trey Lance's ceiling.
So I see some trades here. Trey Lance and 2/3 for Russell Wilson.
Lance.
You definitely want Lance there.
Not Wilson. Not with how he's been playing lately.
Whereas Trey Lance for Leonard Fournette and 2 first. I don't know that I.
I mean, a little pricey, I think, at this point. A little pricey. It's not bad, but it depends on where those firsts are. True.
Yeah. Because I can see that being, because they are 2022 first. I can see that being.
If that's the 111, 112, and Fournette in a super flex league, I'd probably rather Lance over that package. But if that's early first, no, I'm not gonna do that.
This is an interesting one. This is in a super flex. Trey Lance for Deontay Johnson and Mark Andrews.
No,
that's a lot.
No, I'm not doing that. That I'm not doing. That sounds just too expensive. I mean, I know that quarterbacks are worth their weight in gold, but I'm just not doing that. I can't possibly trade for an unproven quarterback for the current tight end 1 and a reliable low end wide receiver 1. Who's only 25. That's not going to happen. So no.
I am with you. P2 Thar, my team bombed this year. Sorry to hear that, P2 Thar. Unless you were trying to make it bomb, but number 2 pick. But at least trading Mixon netted me the number 3 pick next year and a 2020. So we got 2 firsts.
That's a good return. 103 and 23 first for Mixon. You're not going to do better.
Yep. Still waiting to see what 2022 pick I get for moving CMC. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if in the offseason is the time, I mean, you can move CMC at that point.
Was it just CMC or was it more, P2 Thar? That's what I'd be curious.
Well, I don't know. I mean, he hasn't moved him yet.
Oh, so waiting to see what I can get. It sounds like he traded him already, maybe, though.
Well, we'll have to hear more about that then.
Yeah, I'm curious. Gator sends Justin Jefferson playoff hero.
Sure. I mean, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. He's great.
He's great. All-around hero. Justin Jefferson.
He's always a hero. I totally agree.
Yes. My kids still do the gritty when they do something good.
Oh, my God.
Ed Franz, trade that 101, Christian, if you aren't going QB and move back and pick up some capital. I think we have to just see how things work out.
Now's not the time to do that.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't want to be trading the 101 right now.
Yeah, don't do that right now.
PJ, what's up, PJ? It's been a while since I've seen you in here, but good to see you. Never trust Pete Carroll. He's a liar, always has been.
You know who's a liar? Russell Wilson.
Liar?
No, Russell. Well, Urban Meyer doesn't know anything, so it's hard to lie when you don't know anything.
He's like, oh yeah, I think so and so has been getting more snaps. And
I know, and he didn't even
snaps.
play.
Yeah,
he didn't even play. But
come on.
No, Russell Wilson is a liar. He said that that's what he said. He said that he's very happy in Seattle. He's going to play there forever. He's not going to play there forever. That is a big lie. And I put it out there. I put it on the DLF website. You can go read it. I put it in print, calling him a liar. So, if there's any doubt that I stand behind that, it's on the DLF website. You can go to my most recent article. It's right there. Liar.
You said Russell
Wilson's going to be on a different team in 2022. I'm beyond confident.
There we go. PJ Kennedy says, what do you guys think Dobbins' price tag is right now? I pulled up the trade finder. But do you have any initial thoughts on that, or?
Well, it's hard to give a price tag, but I'm probably not telling him. I would have been buying the whole time. Now it's a little late.
That's the thing is, if you got somebody who is on their team and they're not a contender,
whole time,
right?
Yeah.
If they're a contender or they snuck in the playoffs and they want, maybe you can get him. But it's a weird trade, I think, at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really looking to move Dobbins right now.
Ooh, Dobbins and a first for Christian McCaffrey.
Depends on where that first is, but that's about right.
Dobbins for Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Come on,
Dobbins. We don't want Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Actually detracts from your team. He takes away. He demotivates the other players. So we don't want
locker room guy on fantasy. I'm sure he's great in real life.
He's a bad locker room guy for your dynasty team because you're going to be tempted to start him, and then he's going to make you pay.
He's always going around telling everybody how was taking over Jonathan Taylor. It's just
I know. And his old college teammate is a much better player than he is.
J.K. Dobbins or Alvin Kamara.
It's still Kamara, but
it's probably still Kamara.
Like
the fact that it's close. I think
it's not that far off, but it's still Kamara.
Yeah, so that's a decent idea there.
It would be one thing if we knew that Dobbins was back and healthy, but I don't have the same production doubts with Kamara that I have with some of the other older players. So I'll stick with him.
Interestingly, not a lot. I'm going through the trade finder. Not a lot of draft pick type trades for him.
Well, who's trading Dobbins right now? He was traded at the beginning of the year. If he was on a competitor at the beginning of the year, he was moved to a rebuilder at that time or in the first 5 weeks. Who's trading Dobbins now? Nobody.
Yep. Are we starting Tua or Justin Fields this week?
Tua, not Fields. Okay. Not Fields. Fields, not good. Not good enough. Not good enough. He's working his way into my doghouse very quickly. I need to see some improvement.
You're not going to use the F word, are you?
Let me tell you something. I want to see more effort from Allen Robinson. I'm tired of it.
Oh.
Speaking of someone I've turned on, this is, not that I was really ever on Allen Robinson's side, but this attitude just seems a lot like if Michael Thomas had decided he actually felt like suiting up on the field. This seems like the behavior we'd be seeing from Michael Thomas. So I don't want Allen Robinson in Dynasty. This screams Kenny Golladay to me. He can be someone else's problem, but I don't want him. This Bears team really just has like a stench of failure surrounding it. So I don't want any of these players. It's not good.
Tua against the Jets feels like.
Well, Tua's matchup this week is much better, but Fields is a big no. I can't do that. He could give you 3 points. That won't work. Right.
Ed says, I'm really optimistic on 2022. Dobbins, please throw to him. I think that is something you want to see.
Throws to Devonta Freeman.
Right. So I don't know. It makes sense. But yeah, please do it. We haven't seen that connection yet. Really Truther. What's up, guys? What's up, man? Appreciate you tuning in. Which side would you prefer on a hopeful 1 year out contending team? Brady, Zeke / Pollard, or Baker, McLaurin, latest first. I hope that means Zeke and Pollard and not Zeke.
It's the Baker side, though, I guess, because it's not the other side.
Right.
But this has, all players I do not want. I mean, Brady, I'd want a contender, but Baker, I don't want. McLaurin, I don't want anymore. Zeke, hard pass. Pollard, I guess I don't mind at his value.
Right. Yeah, I don't think I'm trading. It's funny because I mean, like you say 1 year out, if you're in the playoffs right now, maybe you trade for Brady, but
yeah, but then you have to deal with Zeke. Although I guess you get rid of McLaurin, who you can't use, and Baker, who you can't use. So I get it.
Ridley double dips in a vacuum. Would you trade Najee for Godwin plus or another wide receiver plus package? But around the Godwin tier of wide receivers, assume 1 PPR, super flex league. Much appreciated.
Oh, absolutely. I love Chris Godwin, but I think we know this. I've always been a big fan of Chris Godwin. And I would. I mean, I feel like Najee's peak value is now. I don't think his value is going to go up. I think this is his peak value. So if you can get Godwin plus, I would do it. It might be hard given how Godwin's played lately, but you can try.
I think Najee is going to be a polarizing player this offseason.
No, because people have no choice. People have no choice because who else? I mean, who else is going to be at the top of running back rankings? What are the alternatives? There's no choice. They have no choice, so he's not going to be polarizing.
Well, it feels like every player can be, but I just feel like I feel like he is going to. I've already seen some of the people talk about.
Those people don't matter enough to make a difference. All it takes is, 4 or 5 people in the league to want the volume, and then his value will stay high. Just on the general, those people, I hear them. They have valid concerns. I mean, I would be selling Najee, but in terms of his value among dynasty running backs, there's just no choice. There's no alternative. The other guys are so old. Like your alternatives are people with injury problems like McCaffrey, and then you have Mixon who has inconsistency, and then there's the really old guys. So you just, maybe Javonte could compete if he starts to see more carries down the stretch, but there just really isn't anyone else. So if you want a top running back, I guess you could just not select Najee. You could just not take a running back in that range, and that's probably what I would recommend. I mean, I would go JT or bust at running back early on, but in terms of running back rankings, it is what it is.
Yeah, I think you're going to get. That's why I think guys like J.K. Dobbins are going to get some helium. I think like Cam Akers is going to get some helium. I think in terms of where they're being drafted now, they're going to go.
Well, I agree with you because that's more the range where I'm going to be selecting running backs. But if you look at it, like I have one QB, I have Najee Harris ranked 5th overall and Godwin 11th. It's probably telling you that I would much rather pick 11th than 5th. And if I had 5th, I would definitely trade down to 11th because it's really what I'm saying here, right?
Yeah.
If I want to trade Najee for Godwin plus, think of it from a startup perspective because that's the perspective we're going to be thinking of in about a month's time.
New York Fight Exchange. I'll get it right this time. Will Urban Meyer remember how to utilize J-Rob, or is he taking him down with him? Need him to be solid in the postseason with Swift. I know he's killing me in the leagues that I've got him right now. So yes, give us some good. Tell us it's going to be okay, Tyler.
It's not going to be okay. Dang it. Sorry. Urban Meyer is ruining everything. So until he's gone, it's not going to be okay. James Robinson clearly thinks he was benched. I mean, we all saw the interview. And now we get a matchup against the Texans. You're going to play him anyway. But
you can't not play
him. I can see the rage.
Yes.
Coming.
Yes.
But you have to play him anyway.
Man.
I'm sorry. You have to just play him and hope.
You said
you were
100% sure that Trevor Lawrence is good. How sure are you that Urban Meyer is bad?
5,000.
Spock says, can we trust Darnell Mooney next week against the Vikings?
No, you cannot. I mean, you probably have to play him because you might not have better options, but no, you cannot trust him. Not after this week. I mean, what did he have? 1 catch?
Crazy. He'd been doing so good with his, getting like, Oh, gosh.
Well, I mean, Allen Robinson came back into the lineup, demanded 6 targets, did nothing with them, and then he had his interesting block on the sideline. We all saw that. But yeah,
I'm with you. So how about Zach Ertz, the playoff hero?
Sure. I mean, if DeAndre Hopkins is more hurt than we think, he's getting an MRI.
Man, I hope not. Gosh, he's had a tough season. Hopkins, huh?
Yeah, there's been some discussion about that. I heard from places that some people think that AJ Green has looked better than DeAndre Hopkins this season. I think that's not true. I don't think that's true, but I don't think that that's the most ridiculous thing I've heard, considering how they've played. We know that DeAndre Hopkins is better than AJ Green.
Right.
But DeAndre Hopkins has not played up to his talent. I think that in Dynasty, I mean, I was begging people to sell. Now it's too late. Now you have Julio Jones.
Yeah, just hold up with Ertz. He's got Detroit, Indy, and Dallas in the fantasy playoffs here. That's not a bad playoff schedule in terms of running back.
I tell you though, if he doesn't deliver, people are gonna really just be out on him. He could be a value this offseason, actually.
Can we trust Miles Sanders next week?
No. You cannot play Miles.
Ever. Can we trust him ever? Yeah.
I mean, you can trust him in that he is their favorite among who they have, but the problem is that he's hurt right now. So you can't fully trust him.
Yeah. Good way to put it.
You can't play him this week. Do not play him.
Sounds like he injured his
ankle injury. You cannot play him.
Yeah, looks like he got, let's see. I mean, obviously a ton of carries this past week, but that was it's like 9 to 15 carries and then all of a sudden 24. Crazy. Okay. That was 2 weeks ago, I guess. Squirrel.
I know what he's referring to here.
I desperately want to avoid spending 24 hours in a Waffle House. Yes or no on Michael Carter? Okay, so he's in a league, I guess, apparently.
This is his last place punishment. Although I actually think he would very much enjoy 24 hours in a Waffle House.
Especially on Waffle Wednesday.
Oh, yes. I actually think he would love that. I don't know why he wants to avoid it. But you can play Michael Carter if he comes back, I think.
There's nobody else, right? I think they are going to use him.
No. So this week when I was doing I had a good time doing quarterback, receiver, tight end, start sit, and then I got to running back and I just threw my hands up and was like, well, how do I possibly rank the Jets backfield? Michael Carter, he might play. Tevin Coleman might play. We don't know. How do I rank Arizona? James Conner might play. Chase Edmonds might be activated from injured reserve. What do I do with that? And then there's Detroit. What do I do there? I mean, Swift may return from his shoulder injury. Jamal may come off the COVID list, but we're not sure. And then there's Miami, where everyone is on the COVID list, and Malcolm Brown may be activated from injured reserve. Oh, that's someone to pick up, by the way, just in case. He might be on waivers, even Dynasty, if people don't have IR spots and they dropped him. Malcolm Brown, as if he's alone, you can trust him. Somehow, if all the balls bounce right and he ends up being the one, then you can trust him.
My best ball teams would love that, helping go from 11th place to 9th place.
Yeah, but how am I supposed to rank those situations? I mean, we don't know if Darrell Henderson is going to play. It's just I looked at running back this week and I was like, I mean, Philadelphia is a whole other situation. I mean, Howard and Sanders are both highly questionable. So what
about Craig Reynolds? You mentioned Detroit. I thought you were going to go there.
Well, I mean, but that requires Swift and Williams to both be out. And we have no idea if that's going to happen.
He looked good. He had some juice, man.
Right. But I don't think that maybe he passed Igwebike and Jamar Jefferson, but I don't think he passed Swift and Jamal Williams.
No.
Obviously. But we don't know if those two players are going to come back, and we're not going to know until Friday. So For some reason, running back this week was just like impossible to rank. I guess you can play Michael Carter. I don't know where I would rank him. I mean, I'm going to have a little bit of trepidation, but there's just so many uncertainties. I guess right now I would kind of pencil him in as a mid to low end RB2, just because of the uncertainty. But there's so many guys in that range who could go one way or another. How do you rank the Packers backfield this week? I ranked AJ Dillon ahead.
Yeah.
But do we know? I mean, if I told you that Aaron Jones had 18 carries and 5 receptions this week and AJ Dillon had 6 carries and nothing, would you believe me? Probably. So,
right.
This running back situation is just a mess. I mean, unless you have one of the top guys, you really are just kind of guessing. So I'm going to I even told people on my Patreon, like, stay with me for updates on those running back rankings. They're not done. We're not done there.
Sam says, Dynasty Superflex. I have 3 first-round picks. I have Prescott, Wilson, and Bridgewater at quarterback. Do you trust Zach Wilson as a QB2 next year? Or should I take Coral, Pickett, etc.?
I mean, take him if you can get him. But no, I don't trust Zach Wilson as a quarterback 2 next year. Why would I? What has he done to demonstrate that I should have any trust in him at all?
Is Zach Wilson going to end up being a QB2 on his team next year? That's no. With the way that they've got like 2 picks in the first 5, I think, as it lines up right now.
No, I don't think that the Jets coach and general manager would keep their jobs if that happened. So no.
I'm not sure they keep it if they don't do that at this point. Like,
well, no, they're not going to keep their jobs if they don't make Zach Wilson work out. So
and I hope he does. I hope he does work out.
I don't think he will.
But they need to bring in a veteran or something. Like, there's something they need to, Garoppolo. That might be a good place for Garoppolo.
I don't even know at this point.
Who are your biggest dynasty buys at each position during this offseason?
All right. Okay. Let's see. I mean, running back, it's been Javonte Williams the whole time. It still is. Especially now that people saw Melvin Gordon come back in and take the work. Still Javonte Williams.
Yeah. We haven't seen the height of his
We have not.
powers.
Quarterback's Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence for me. Anyway, a buy, someone that's a buy low, at least. I'm fine buying high on Justin Herbert as well.
Sure. Yeah.
Sure. Other buy lows. I mean, I hate to even wade into this, but I'm okay buying low on Deshaun Watson. I can do that. If someone is just so frustrated and you can get him for nothing, I'm okay with that. Those are the main ones. I don't see a lot of quarterbacks where I like the price other than that.
No, we talked earlier about Trey Lance. I guess that's one of the ones.
Yeah, Trey Lance would be another one. Not Justin Fields, but Trey Lance.
Right. I mean, maybe Jameis Winston, he probably earned himself a job. I mean, you could probably get him pretty cheap.
I guess so.
Not excited about it, but
not excited about it.
Yeah, I don't know that that's going to be my favorite buy, but might be
not excited. No. And then receiver
Dobbins. That's been.
Yeah, I mean, I said Javonte Williams. Dobbins is another one. Yeah, those are 2 good ones. Cam Akers as well.
Wide receiver, we were pumping up buying Waddle for a lot of the season.
Waddle for sure. If you want someone who's just constantly undervalued, Deontay Johnson. Deontay Johnson is someone who's constantly, and Chris Godwin also underappreciated. Chris Godwin. I'm also fine buying low on DK Metcalf, not AJ Brown, but DK Metcalf.
I like Brown, but I hear you.
Not Brown. Availability is a problem. I don't like players who are not available. DK Metcalf has always played. Hasn't always been good, but he's always played. AJ Brown is always another problem. Always a new injury. I don't want to deal with always a new injury. So not him, but DK Metcalf, absolutely. If they can buy low on DK Metcalf, I would.
A lot of frustration around Rondale Moore right now. What do you think about that?
No, thank you. No, thank you. I mean, I guess I could because his value is probably lower than I'm willing to pay, but not my first choice. I would, I'd rather go another way. And Michael Gallup, like always, but I don't know if that's buying low. Amon Ra. I'm convinced.
Love that.
Yes, I've become convinced that Amon Ra is going to be have some staying power. He's going to have some staying power. And then if people have completely forgotten about him, I'm actually okay with buying DJ Chark. Because I think that if he's smart, he sees what's going on here, and he's going to find another location. I can't see that anyone, after Marvin Jones is storming out of the building, that DJ Chark is going to voluntarily return. So I'm actually okay with buying DJ Chark at a dirt cheap price, because I think that could pay off. He's not so old. So that's someone I'd have a little bit of interest in, mostly because I just think his price is going to be so low.
It's interesting. I like that one. Open 24 hours. Hey, now, love the show. Appreciate you tuning in. David says 12 teams who reflect straight away. Woods and
I never gave people a tight end. Alberto. I don't care. I don't care that it's going to take 2 years. The difference between Noah Fant and Alberto is minimal. Yeah. Minimal. The talent gap is like 5% at most. Minimal difference. Noah Fant is very overrated, and Alberto is very underrated. So I would take a look at Alberto.
Yeah, I was just going to look, and it's
I'm willing to wait.
Spot, but he's been pretty good recently.
For Alberto. He's that good. I'm willing to wait.
Yeah, he has been. If you look just here recently, he's actually been commanding a decent amount of targets, like comparatively to what the rest of the team's been getting. Which people are like, oh, there's no way I'm going to invest in him because there's going to be too many mouths to feed. But I mean, you look at Noah Fant has 8 targets in the last 2 weeks, whereas Alberto has 9. I mean, it's not like he's being pushed aside. It's not exactly you want him to get more, and I can see a scenario where he eventually gets more.
Yeah, I agree.
Over 24 hours, should the last playoff spot go to the team with most points that's not already in the playoffs, or to the team with the better record?
Fine with that first suggestion. I mean, that's how Trade Addicts does playoffs, and I'm fine. I don't have any problem with that. I'm fine also just going straight record. I don't know, issues with the tiebreaker being points between teams with even records. Fine with both formats. I do actually like what Sleeper does with the game against the median. I think that's a good middle ground between, because you just made everything all play and there's no matchups. You don't feel like you're winning. I mean, it's just kind of doesn't feel quite as fun. But I kind of like that median. That's kind of a middle ground between just doing all play and only having head to head. Makes it a little bit more fair. You get essentially a double header. So if you do that, then I don't think you have a need for most points. I think you just go record then, because you've had a points game every week. Like top 6 get a win, bottom 6 get a loss every single week. So points is already factored in at that point. So you don't need to count points again. So you just go record in that case. That's actually my preferred format, is with that median that Sleeper uses. And I will say that there may be something in the works with Sleeper.
So just in case, open, I would say if you're talking about right now, then
you're not changing the playoffs now.
It's whatever your league has been doing. Like, you're not
whatever the league bylaws say. Yeah, you're not changing the playoffs now. That would be bad. That we can't do that.
Don't do that. Right.
Here, I'll grab the super chat and then we'll go back.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
It's not a question.
Oh. Derek says, thanks for all your advice this season. Thank you, Derek. And seriously,
you're welcome. And I will say that I appreciate everyone who has thanked me for advice in this chat, on Twitter and everywhere else. I try to respond to everyone who's thanked me. Sometimes I miss a couple, and I apologize if I missed you. But I really do try to respond to everyone who's thanked me, including you, Derek, because you came in and gave a super chat. So I'll give you, a whole response of that. But I do really try to get back to everyone saying that I appreciate you, that your thanks was heard, that I hear it and it matters. Because that's a lot of actually what keeps me going, is hearing that people appreciate what I'm doing and that it helps them out. It's more fun, helps them win leagues. I've gotten a lot of that in the last week. People thanking me for making the playoffs. And they had to run their teams, but I appreciate that people think that I made a difference in their playoff runs. And that's the kind of stuff that'll keep me coming back next year and the year after that to continue doing this. So, I appreciate you, Derek, and, everyone in the chat, everyone on Twitter, and just really everyone who's, been there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a fun season. I mean, this is, we're just getting started with this, and we appreciate everyone, like you said, who's in the chat. And yeah, thanks for all your advice.
Everywhere. Yeah, I appreciate everyone on all platforms, this one and every other one that I'm on.
Yep. So I'll use this opportunity to sort of reset us here. If you are watching this, like, make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel. Like, just look down there, hit the subscribe button.
There? Yeah, it should be on somewhere down there.
I think it's red.
It is red. I know it's red.
Do that. Hit the little thumbs up button. Make sure that you and look, just say hi. Like, even if it's just something like this and you just want to say thanks, that always means a lot. And even afterwards in the comments, put something nice in there. That would be great. But yeah, and also our question this week is, who's going to be the playoff hero this year? So, man, if Elijah Mitchell can come back, that's the one I've been kind of thinking could be that guy for us.
Also, keep the comments classy, guys. I've seen some every week. I have to block someone on here. Yes. Come on, guys.
Yeah, but just to finish this, I think I like those leagues where you get those anomalies where you're like 4-9, but you're the third highest scoring team. That's somebody that should be in the playoffs.
Yeah, but part of me kind of likes that they're not. I kind of like it a little, just a little bit.
Dustin wanted to say how much I appreciate you guys. I know the holidays are coming up, and just wanted to make sure you two know how many people appreciate you and the impact you guys make in the community. That means a lot.
It really does. And I don't want it to come off this is like a, woe is me thing. I am very aware of the number of people who appreciate me. I actually always, I often make probably a post a week at this point, thanking people for that. The people really do a pretty good job of telling me. So I do appreciate that.
Anthony says, are you guys still high on DJ Moore? The community overall seems to view him as a top 10 wide receiver, but we're still waiting on the high end season.
Yeah, but not as high as I was.
What really, his age is what keeps him so intriguing, because he's got production, but doesn't have the fantasy like top 12 finish like you're hoping. That is part of what complicates, so much of his value. But he's so young. Like, he's younger than Dwayne Eskridge. Like, and there's like, he's got one of those weird things where he's been in the league forever, but somehow still very young.
Yeah, I mean, I would buy him. I still like him, but I think we kind of know what he is.
Ed agrees and wants points to matter there. Hear me out. So this is Taryn. He's hear me out. He's got a theory.
I'll hear you out.
If Urban Meyer leaves next year, could Travis Etienne become a running back like Cordero Patterson, or someone like Deebo Samuel with touches and receptions?
No, Etienne's screwed either way. He's screwed either way. Either he gets stuck with a completely incompetent head coach who doesn't know how to do anything, or the head coach who overdrafted him and wasted a first-round pick to bring him in leaves, and then his draft capital doesn't mean anything against the superior talent in James Robinson. Travis Etienne's screwed either way. So, nope. I'm good. Hard pass.
I like the idea of someone being at like in this mold, but I mean, you're reaching kind of high for someone who hasn't seen the field yet and
won't work.
Is going to be coming back from a very serious injury,
which we have heard nothing about, by the way.
Right. Ed still likes DJ Moore. His QB situation can't get worse. We hope.
I have a feeling that you might see a better quarterback playing for the Panthers next year. Oh, yeah. Just a feeling.
Deshaun Watson?
I could see it.
Interesting.
Could see it.
Spot, can we trust Russell Gage next week against the 49ers banged up secondary?
So mid wide receiver 3, yes. But as anything more, no.
Christian says, thanks for the response, guys.
No
Good
problem.
luck all. Thank you, Christian. Appreciate the question. Jonas says Saquon is going to be a playoff hero.
No.
Would you like to talk about Saquon or no? We talk a lot.
No, I really wouldn't. I think that I've got enough people telling me that, it's not obvious that Saquon's still a superstar and he should, he shouldn't have healed, he's still healing, or is this or is that injury or another thing. I don't care. Saquon Barkley is on, and I'll say it again. I do not care. I'll say it live on the show. I do not care. Saquon Barkley is on a Todd Gurley trajectory. He's never going to be the same guy. He doesn't look like the same guy. And,
the run that Gurley had either. I mean, it's not like
he didn't have that run.
Yeah.
But, it's kind of looking like you see the warning signs coming. You see them coming at the end of 2018. There are warning signs. Then 2019, he plays a whole season, Gurley, but it's not the same. It just doesn't look the same. And I think Gurley's 2019 is Saquon's 2021. And then, the wheels in 2020, he's okay for a little while, but then the wheels just come off. And I think that's kind of where we're going here. I don't want any part of Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley, like I said, I think he looks like Josh Jacobs. It's fine. It's fine. It's competent. But that's what he is. He's not special anymore. Get him off your team.
I'm out. Open 24 hours is out on DJ Moore. He's a wide receiver 2 at best. So, 15?
Yeah.
Top 15?
He's probably not going to be a wide receiver 1 again, but the age helps him.
Because he's got plenty of time to still be a wide receiver 1.
Time, yeah. But even now, he's probably a tiny bit overvalued, but maybe not by much. I mean, at the end of the day, Jalen Waddle has been really impressive, but DJ Moore has a lot more of a history of production, and he's only a little bit older. So, picking between those two guys, I can understand why someone would still stick with the safety of DJ Moore.
Yep. Brady Allen, should I drop Alvin Kamara for Mark Ingram so I have a handcuff for Alvin Kamara? I hope this is a redraft question, Brady.
I don't understand this question. And also,
I don't really want Mark Ingram, though.
Yeah, I also blocked Brady for bad questions later. So just don't read any more from him.
Fantasy Condo. So what people don't know behind the scenes, like I'm like way back, whatever question we're on, you're like looking like current. So I've apparently not gotten to some of those questions. So
yeah,
cut it out, Brady. I don't know what you did, but cut it out.
Well, he'll never have an opportunity to leave another question again. So
finishing 5th. Fantasy Condo finished 5th in my first ever 10-team Dynasty League, 3 points shy of the last playoff spot. Dang. Darn you, Cooper Kupp.
Sorry.
There's a playoff hero, Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp is such a beast, man.
He's such a
beast. Did you see his interview?
No.
I don't think.
What did he say?
It was like a technical interview. It was like talking in like another language, but it was like football technical terms. I love him.
I love that.
I love him. I love him.
I'm gonna have to go look at that.
Yeah.
I love that kind of stuff.
I love Cooper Kupp.
Okay, I won't read whatever question this is from Brady here. Pat Coughlin, Rashad Penny, is he worth picking up?
Well, yeah. I mean, in a Dynasty League, he's a must-add. Spend the rest of your fab.
Yeah. And any running back right now. Like, that's
I would add Craig Reynolds just in case.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because if everybody else is inactive this week, like Craig Reynolds is going to be a play. David, thoughts on mid-season rule changes? Had my first round bye stripped because I wasn't a quote-unquote division leader.
Oh, boy. I think we're going to get a rant here.
Even though rules said seeding was determined by a record with top 2 getting a bye. I'm 12-2.
What do you think I think about mid-season rule changes that are not in the bylaws?
So I guess my question is it a rule change or is it the rule was not clear? Because as I'm reading this, the rule said seeding was determined by record with top 2 getting a bye. Was there an assumption? Oh, this is of course going to be division leaders, which
I have a bad feeling here. I have a bad feeling that this is the kind of thing where it might not have been clear and someone's going to be unhappy no matter what you do.
no matter what you do, because that like maybe everybody thinks like, oh, this is clearly going to be somebody from this conference and somebody from this conference, but then you get a situation where it doesn't work out that way, and everybody gets to learn and it adds something else to the league constitution. That probably is the real lesson here.
Yeah, oftentimes though, in today's culture, today's society, these disputes end up with the person you don't side with leaving. If it's not, that's how it works.
Yeah,
in today's world, is unfortunately that's often the case. Is for something like this that's makes a huge difference. Who gets a first round bye? Oftentimes, whoever you don't side with, if they don't end up winning the league, often ends up leaving.
And that's what I think maybe David like ask, and I don't know, maybe you're saying this is like a change, or maybe it's just an interpretation, type thing.
I think it's an interpretation that David doesn't like, and I can relate. I would be very pissed if I were David.
Yeah. Yes.
But I would also be pissed if I were the other manager and I assumed it was the other way, and then my bye was taken away. Like, this is the kind of thing where it sounds like someone is going to be rightfully very upset no matter what.
Try to find somebody unbiased, send them give them the information, kind of thing, let them make a decision. Yeah, that's the only way that you're, especially if this is like a league where there's a bunch of friends. If it's just a bunch of internet people, like whatever, David, find a new league.
Yeah, there's a bunch of internet people. Probably whoever you don't side with is leaving the league.
Right.
If it's a bunch of friends, find a way to work it out.
Rice Cake Randy, excuse me. In a super flex, I have Dak, T-Law, and Taysom Hill. Bunch of picks. Is Taysom plus a 2?
2 seconds.
Plus 2 2022 seconds for Tua and overpay.
No, it's an underpay.
Yeah,
worth more than that.
Taysom may not be anything after this season, so you got Tua for 2 seconds. That's good.
Yeah, no, Tua side.
Very good. Squirrel wants to know how Max Scherzer's value is. He's getting up in age. I'm a huge Max Scherzer fan.
I don't know much about him,
but he's definitely look. He's a competitor, but I think he's not the same capital letters Max Scherzer that you know.
Better a baseball question than a food question.
Luke wants to know if there's any buy low running backs that he could get for Brandon Cooks.
No, nobody's buying Brandon Cooks. You're stuck with him for the rest of his career unless you want to take a massive loss.
You'd have to take a massive loss.
Nobody likes Brandon Cooks.
Where does Brandon Cooks play next year?
Houston.
You think?
Yeah.
What about? I'm trying to think if there's like a Khalil Herbert plus.
Sure. I don't know.
Could you get Ramondre Stevenson for him?
No,
maybe.
I don't think you can.
Probably not. Okay. You don't want Trey Sermon for him.
No. I don't want Trey Sermon at all.
No, me neither.
Yeah.
Pete Tuthar traded CMC for 3 first.
Looks pretty good now.
That team barely got in the playoffs, so pick will be 5th or later. It's not bad.
Looks pretty good now. No, this is another Brady question that I don't understand.
I don't understand what that means either. Zachary, I am in complete rebuild mode with my Dynasty team. I have 3 2022 first round picks. Someone is interested in Kyler Murray, who's my QB1. I'm assuming QB. This is a 1 QB league, I would guess. Do I consider trading him? And if so, for who?
I'd rather not.
Just don't trade him in Superflex. Just don't do it.
Yeah, I'd rather not.
What should he trade Kyler for?
I don't want to trade him.
Okay. If it's a 1 QB league, would you? No?
I guess, but then what are you going to get for him that's good value? Why are you trading Kyler Murray in a rebuild?
Yeah. This feels like one that like things are getting a little bit too cute or
yeah, that's kind of how I feel.
Yeah. I was going to look up some Kyler Murray trades, but they're all very strange. So don't worry about it. Oh God. Mark Carr, how much do you like Zach Wilson for Superflex, or is he just trash already?
He's in the doghouse.
He's not trash.
He's not trash, but he's in the doghouse until further notice.
But Josh Rosen is in the realm of possibilities at this point.
Oh, yes.
So we have to.
Right now, Zach Wilson is in the doghouse.
His floor has gotten a lot.
His floor
lower.
is 0. Yeah. His floor is
0. Clue, sell Terry McLaurin for Brandon Ayuk, a late 2022 first and a third.
Brutal. But yeah, I'll take the Ayuk second.
Really?
Yes, really.
Wow. What did Terry do that makes him lose so much value in Dynasty right now?
Continue to not produce.
I guess, man. I mean,
how is he gonna get a new quarterback though?
Dude, there's like 10 teams right now that I'm not sure they're gonna have, like, they're gonna need a new quarterback, and there's not 10 good quarterbacks they can go get.
Yeah, but the problem is that it's Washington. Aaron Rodgers, Sean Watson, Russell Wilson, they're not going to play in Washington. Nobody wants to be a part of that. Nobody wants to be a part of this disaster, with Dan Snyder. Nobody wants to play there. So
do you think if they offered Aaron Rodgers the right to name the team, that would make it more likely?
No, I don't think so. So
maybe
I'll have to take the first round pick with Ayuk at this point. Terry McLaurin is just unfortunate story, but he's already 26. I mean, he's going to turn 27 in September of next year. By the time his situation is fixed, he's going to be old. I guess that's it. Not that's it. I mean, you can still value him, but this is too much. Too much.
Weaves has a disgusting Superflex scenario this week for me. It's either Cam versus the Bills.
Oh my God.
Or Trevor versus Houston. Could also just plug in Gallup or AJ Dillon.
So let me tell you, if I'd told you at the beginning of the year, I would told you that we got to this second matchup with Houston, right? The second matchup with Houston.
Mm-hmm.
And I ranked Trevor Lawrence for the week as quarterback 27.
Wow.
Would you have thought that that was possible? That I ranked him 27 at this point? Weekly. 27.
But he's the answer here. You're not playing Cam over him. Against the Bills?
I think I'm going to play Cam. I think so because Gallup is so volatile at this point.
Good matchup this week. I don't mind him as a flex play maybe.
I mean, who knows what Dillon is going to do. I'm going to go back to Cam. You usually want to play the quarterback unless it's a stud, and these are not that. So I'll go with Cam and just close my eyes.
The Bills are going to eat him alive.
I'm aware of that, but that's what I'm going to do. This sucks.
PJ Walker is going to
straight up that this sucks.
PJ Walker is going to get snaps in this game.
I mean, I have Cam ranked at quarterback 21. But I'm still going to play him.
PJ says Treylon Burks is the 101.
Unlikely unless all the running backs strike out.
Yeah.
But it is possible.
PT Thor, Waddle and Montgomery have good playoff schedules. If they could get consistent touches, they could be the answer to our question of the week, which is
Waddle's been
the playoff.
Great, hasn't? I mean, Waddle's been great. I mean, Waddle's done really well. I mean, this week is the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't have any running backs, I mean, Waddle could be used as an extension of the run game. Could have a great PPR day.
I love Waddle.
Yeah, I mean, Waddle I have ranked this week. I mean, wide receiver's so deep this week, but I have Waddle ranked at 15 for the week.
Mm-hmm.
Seemed a little low, but it was just wide receivers deep.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so with David Montgomery, it just kind of seemed like, I don't know, maybe
he's getting work. He's just not doing a lot with it.
There's it's
not a committee.
I kind of like his with Minnesota, Seattle, New York coming up. Like, that's not a bad running schedule, but it did seem like only 10 carries for him last week. Did the return of Damian Williams impact him? Is that
no? Montgomery played like 85% of the snaps. Damian Williams played like 3 snaps.
Yeah,
it's not about that. The problem is
giving the ball. What's going on?
Justin Fields is taking the ball on the ground. That might be part of the problem.
Decent target numbers, at least. So
the target numbers helped him. Which is a whole other bizarre thing. A running quarterback is not allowing the running back to take carries, but is throwing to him, that's a whole other thing that's odd. But I don't know.
Joe Smith, what value does the 101 have in a non-Superflex league?
I never know how to answer this. Like, in terms of what?
Less than it's going to have a few months from now. So just hang on to it.
Yeah, that's true. It's a hard question to answer. It's probably at this point, if I had to like spot it, I mean, if I just look at my rankings, I'd probably spot it around a late second round startup pick.
It's so hard without knowing, because
no, but that's where I would spot it without knowing, just guessing.
So you're talking about like Ezekiel Elliott might be in that range, or
no. Ezekiel Elliott is currently outside of my top 50 in one QB. So no, not Ezekiel Elliott. He's been punished for his poor play.
But I think you're gonna have people there like Dobbins might be in that area next year.
Yeah, I'd still probably rather my choice of the rookies over an injured Dobbins.
Yeah, maybe. The franchise 16 team was thinking of offering Devontae Adams a second. So maybe 206 is what this is.
206 maybe.
Yeah, and a late second for Justin Jefferson. Is that too much?
No, it's too little. It's too little. Right? I mean, that's not going to be accepted.
No.
I mean, a 16 team, 206 is 22nd pick, and then another late second is who knows when. I mean, that's not enough. That's going to get laughed off.
If you can get Jefferson for this, absolutely do it. But
but this offer is going to be laughed at. This won't work.
Yeah. I don't think that's going to get it done for you. Let me see.
No, it will not. It will not be accepted.
Jefferson is probably firmly claimed that wide receiver 1 at this point, right?
Yeah, I think he's taking it back.
Yeah, I think he's the guy there. So, I mean, Adams is still going to be a top 10 guy in ADP next year. I think it's just
no, he won't.
He's 28. He's going to be 29.
He will not be unless we know he has Rodgers.
Right. Yeah, I guess
he won't be top. The day the season ends, he won't be top 10 for me anymore. Unless if I knew he had Rodgers again, maybe I would consider it. Yeah, but he will not be. He's already 29. I mean, do I even have? Let me look. Do I even have him top 10 right now? I don't. He's not even top 10 right now.
And I mean, I know like people are like, oh, look how good he is. Like, but man, look how good D-Hop was last year, and now is his 29-year-old season.
Yeah,
it just like is it going to be an anomaly?
Fast, right?
Sure, maybe, but
I'm just never going to spend that kind of. And if I'm going to spend that kind of capital on a receiver like that, I'm going to take Cooper Kupp, not Devontae Adams. The one who we know where he's going to be. We know who his coach is going to be. We know who his quarterback is going to be. We know all of those things. Why can't he just run it back? With Devontae Adams, we have no idea where he's going to be.
Mm-hmm. We talked about Terry McLaurin a good bit. So
yeah, I'm done with Terry.
No more real thoughts there. Nathan says, what are buy low targets of the offseason? We gave a few of those.
I gave a bunch of those earlier in the show.
I think it felt like a lot of teams, there was some QB shuffling last year. I think this year could be even more. Like, I think there's going to be.
Yeah. I mean, I think Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, and I think the Deshaun Watson situation is going to play itself out as well.
And I think there's going to be some overpays, or we're going to look at them as overpays because teams are going to be desperate for quarterbacks, and lots of demand, low supply.
Well, that's how it works.
Mm-hmm. Matt Uden, Superflex, Deshaun, and a second for Tua, and a third. How do you feel about this?
I mean, this is more fair than it was, but I'll still take Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. Give me Tua. I
no.
More questions about Deshaun than I have Tua.
No, I have way more questions about Tua.
I mean, Deshaun may never play again.
I find that hard to believe.
It's way more in the realm of possibilities, I think, at this point than Tua.
No, I actually think that just given what I've heard, I think that's less likely than it was. I think that if there were like a death blow, if there were a smoking gun, if it were there, if there were something there. Look, if it were up to me, and I think you know this, I think the people probably know how I feel. If it were up to me, Deshaun Watson would never play again. If it were up to me. But it's not up to me. We recognize that. You recognize that. I recognize that. I think the people recognize that. It's not up to me. The NFL is going to let him play again. The NFL would let him play right now. They would let him play right now. I think that if the smoking gun were there, we'd have heard about it. We'd have heard about it if there were that one video, if there were that one thing, if there was something that was going to be too horrible for them to ever let him play again, we would know by now. It's been so long. So I don't think that's coming. And if that never comes, then he's going to play in the NFL again. And when he comes back, he's going to be a top 5 quarterback for fantasy. He's never going to be a top 5 dynasty quarterback ever again because people are never going to trust him, myself included. He won't be a top 5 dynasty quarterback for me, but he will carry more dynasty value than Tua the second he steps back on the field. He just will. And in that case, I'll take Deshaun Watson.
Nathan says, should I sell James Conner, or not Josh Conner, right? Yeah. James Conner in the offseason, or does he become the man in Arizona and they re-sign him?
I would sell him because to be a 27-year-old running back, and I've learned from Mike Davis. I mean, I knew this already, but if people have not learned at this point, 27-year-old is like 27 is like a death age. 27, 28 is like death for running backs.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would sell him, of course.
Is he 27 already? Goodness.
He will be. He's a 95 birthday. I don't know his exact birthday off the top of my head, but I know he's a 95 birthday.
Yeah. I think there's a chance. I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't re-sign him.
Oh, I expect them to re-sign him. Right. But I don't expect
production's going to be more than value. And
reminds me a lot of Kenyon Drake in 2020. Kenyon Drake going into 2020, where I think people have learned from that. I don't think that will happen again. I don't think people will just go goo goo gaga for this kind of player in Dynasty. I think people have learned that the risk is high. So if somehow that doesn't happen and he gets an extreme amount of Dynasty value, yes, I would obviously sell. If his price remains reasonable, then I would hold.
Okay. So I clicked over. I read ahead. Addison says, teaser for tomorrow's video on Zach Wilson. Look up the list of rookie quarterbacks who threw more interceptions and touchdowns in their rookie year. Spoiler alert.
Peyton Manning on that list?
I know he threw a lot of interceptions. I don't remember.
Peyton Manning's on that list.
I don't know if he had more touchdowns though.
Yeah, but I know some other representatives on that list. Ryan Leaf. How about that one?
I'm trying to look this up, and I don't know how to look it up. But
Luckily, I might know some examples. I'm pretty sure Jamarcus Russell is on that list. I know Ryan Leaf is on that list. He's the one. He's the one I know is there. But there are. Apparently, it's not very good, according to Addison. You'll have to watch the video.
Yes, make sure you go watch that video. That's a good teaser there, Addison. I like it. He did throw 28 interceptions as a rookie, Peyton Manning.
Man. Brutal.
So many.
He was still good.
PJ Kennedy, Elijah Mitchell is going to be the hero.
Well, he's got to come back and play first. But
it
does sound like he will be ready to play this week. And if he does, I'm firing him up with full confidence. We know how San Francisco works. If you're in, you're fully healthy. If you're in, you're ready. So if he comes back, he comes back to his role. He's an RB1.
Mm-hmm. And it's not like Jeff Wilson has lit the world on fire with his opportunities this year.
No, Jeff Wilson was fine this past week for real life. I mean, he was competent. And I actually think that they re-signed Jeff Wilson. I think he's competent backup. I actually think that's what they're going to do. I think they're going to let Raheem Mostert walk because his contract is up. And they'll re-sign Jeff Wilson. And next year, they're going to move forward with Mitchell, their starter, Wilson is backup, Sermon is a waste of time, and some guy like hanging on the practice squad like Hasty or something.
Peyton Manning did have 28 interceptions, 26 touchdowns that year.
So he is in that group.
Jim Zorn,
the one good example.
Jim Zorn had 12 touchdowns, 27 interceptions.
Man,
that's incredible.
Yeah, I mean Trevor Lawrence is in that group too, isn't he?
Terry Bradshaw had 6 touchdown passes, 24 interceptions.
Can you imagine what I would say about Terry Bradshaw?
Yeah, not good.
Isn't Trevor Lawrence is in that group too. 9 touchdowns and 14 picks.
Deshaun Kaiser.
Oh, wow.
There's a name.
He sucks.
11 touchdowns, 22 interceptions. Man, Geno Smith is on that list.
So it's not good. It's not good.
Matt Stafford's on the list. It's a mixed bag.
Okay, Matt Stafford is pretty good.
Mark Sanchez is there.
Yeah, less good.
Chris Winkie, Kerry Collins.
Kerry Collins is not bad.
Ooh, let me see. Oh, no. I thought Andrew Luck for a second, but no, he had more.
Kerry Collins is actually pretty good.
Wow, yeah.
I think if we got Kerry Collins' career for Zach Wilson, we'd be ecstatic at this point.
Yeah, heck yeah. We might get Chris Winkie is the problem.
That one, maybe not.
Urban Meyer is a fool, says PJ. Yes,
I think that's
becoming one of my least favorite people on the planet.
I think Urban Meyer is a worse coach than Adam Gase at this point.
Yes, like he's gone from like my least favorite coach to like one of my least favorite people on the planet, like very quickly.
There are a lot of bad people on the planet, but I think that he's
like
one of my least favorite coaches, if not my least favorite.
Sports hate. Yeah. Dennis Condo, I have the rookie 103 and 106 and a 10 team, half PPR, super flex next year, and 3 firsts in 2023. Would you trade one of the 2022 firsts to 2023 to try to control that draft better?
Trade it if you want, if you get the good value, but to control the draft better, no. No, that's too cute. And we don't worry about that kind of stuff. We worry about getting value in trades. Yeah, I'm not worried about controlling the draft. You can always make a move at any time.
I do think those first in 2022, like people are going to start coming after them a little bit, and there's going to be better opportunities to sell them.
I think people realize that 2023 firsts are worth their weight in gold. You might struggle to get those.
Spock says my playoff running backs are Swift, Connor, Sanders, and are all questionable. Should I spend all of my fab on Malcolm Brown?
And honestly, they're all very questionable. I would say of those, Connor's the most likely to play.
Seems that way.
And Sanders and Swift the least likely. With Malcolm Brown, I mean, we don't know if he's going to be activated from IR. We don't know if Gaskin, Lindsey, or Ahmed are going to clear the COVID list. And since, by the way, Malcolm Brown and Lindsey have never been on the team at the same time, we have no idea which of those two would be ahead if it's a comparison between them.
I would guess Brown, though, because they did prioritize him in free agency, and they do seem to have like an irrational love for Malcolm Brown for whatever reason. Yeah,
but they claimed Philip Lindsay off waivers in the middle of the season, and they instantly gave him a high snap share for no reason. So, and Brown is injured, but I mean, Lindsay also missed the game with an ankle injury. He also has an ankle injury in addition to COVID. So, I guess you can spend your... I don't know. If this is Dynasty, what else are you spending your fab on? Go for it.
I wanted to just pull up and see. Like, I don't think you have to spend all of your fab on Malcolm Brown. Like, what
else is left at this point?
No, but I mean, true. I guess there's no reason to save it.
What are you waiting for? This is the first week of playoffs. There are no more games. That's it. I mean, there's nothing to wait for.
True. Yeah,
nothing to wait for. So, I mean, it is what it is. But you can spend all your fab on Malcolm Brown. You have to be ready to make other arrangements. You can spend your fab on Malcolm Brown and it doesn't get activated from IR. So you need to prepare for another alternative. It's not good enough just to get Malcolm Brown.
Interesting. Do you pivot to Craig Reynolds?
You can't trust Craig Reynolds. You have no idea. I mean, also there was a report that Jamar Jefferson didn't get playing time because he was sick with the flu. I mean, you could start Craig Reynolds and he doesn't play.
True.
You can't do that. I mean, I'd add him just in case he plays, but plays well again, but you can't play him.
PJ says Russ over Pete Carroll. Yeah.
Well, we know that, but what matters is what the Seattle general manager thinks. And in some ways, I feel like Pete Carroll is the general manager.
Yeah. I don't think either one is back in Seattle next year, but
that's kind of where I'm leaning.
Nathan says thoughts on Michael Thomas. Will he come back and have more good seasons?
No. Michael Thomas is not as bad as Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson is actually worse. But Michael Thomas, because Michael Thomas when healthy is better than Allen Robinson when healthy.
What is he doing right now? What is he doing? I don't understand what he's doing.
Thomas or Robinson?
Yeah, Thomas.
No one knows.
Hanging out at his house? Like, is he rehabbing? Like,
Did he have like a party at his house, or was that someone else? Or was that Zeke? I don't even remember. Thomas was doing something in the offseason, but I don't even know. I mean, you can buy him if you want, but nobody's really ever going to trust him again.
And he's probably playing for somebody else. And
who wants him at this point? Who wants to take on that contract? Who wants to pay? Who wants to trade for the privilege of paying Michael Thomas $20 million a year? Who would do that?
Nathan says, do you guys know the default for how Sleeper chooses order of rookie picks?
I think it's reverse order of standings is the default.
Does it not include the little garbage trash?
It doesn't include that
playoff thing, whatever it's called.
I'm pretty sure it doesn't include that. But typically, every league I've been in Sleeper, the commish has set draft order manually based on the bylaws.
Yeah, because you don't want to pull it up and have the consolation bracket.
Yeah, like I said, typically I've never had a league on Sleeper where it was the default order. It's always been manually set by the commission. And Sleeper's very good about allowing that.
Nicholas wants to know if he should trade Darren Waller, not a contender, third to last in the league.
Oh, absolutely. I'm tired of Darren Waller. I mean, what are the excuses for Darren Waller, really? I mean, what are the excuses for his lack of production?
Can you get Hawkinson?
No, you can't.
No?
No. How can you possibly do that? I mean, Darren Waller,
ADP. If I had December
Darren
ADP,
Waller's
I'd love
production is just not good enough. I mean, we've played. I mean, I'm looking here at 11 games, and he's 65 yards or fewer in 8 of them. Mm-hmm. More than 5 receptions in just 3. It's just not good enough. That's not good enough. Not for someone who's already turned 29 and turns 30 in the first week of next season. It's not good enough.
He's had some dominant games. He still has it in him. It's just it has not been the season that you want.
He still has it in him, but consistency is important. And I think that he's someone who, his dynasty value is on the decline at this point. Yeah. I think it's a permanent decline.
Yeah, if you want to get out, I don't think it's a bad time. P2R, you have to make sure we show Tyler appreciation. Got to have him year round for as long as he's willing to help us.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going anywhere. But you never know.
Open 24 hours. Thumbs up, dudes. David, 12 teams who reflects. Traded away Woods. Oh, we did this one, didn't we? Hayden Grubb.
We didn't do that one. Did we?
Yeah, we did.
No, this is a different Taysom Hill trade.
Oh, okay. Woods in a second for Taysom Hill and Kirk.
I mean, I'll take the Hill and Kirk side.
Yeah, if you're competing right now, I still think Hill is a great quarterback.
Yeah.
Like in terms of fantasy. Yeah, so take it. Hayden Grubb, who has the best outlook for 2022 and beyond? Christian Kirk, Juju. I'm guessing it's not going to be that one for you.
No,
and
probably
Van
not.
Jefferson.
Probably Christian Kirk. I get it with Juju. But yeah, probably Christian Kirk.
Probably Kirk. Van Jefferson doesn't look terrible. It's just that I don't trust the Rams not to add more wide receivers.
I just think that Van Jefferson kind of is good. I mean, he's good. This week, I think Van Jefferson, OBJ is going to be out, put on the COVID list today. I think Van Jefferson this week he could be the one we're talking about. He could be the one we're talking about as a playoff, a hero, someone who comes out of nowhere and, delivers a huge performance. I mean, against Seattle, not good. I mean, not good. You want to play against Seattle, no OBJ. I mean, this could be a huge week for Van Jefferson. Juju, I don't have any faith in Juju.
I'm just realizing how far behind we are, so we're going to have to go through this. We're going to go a little bit extra time here, but we are going to try to hurry through. Nicholas says, if you had... Huh?
We're not that far behind.
If you had Chubb and Hunt, would you keep them or trade them together or separately if you're not a contender?
I'm fine doing either, whatever I get more value for. I would trade them, but I'm fine trading them together and I'm fine trading them separately depending on what's worth more. Chubb is a must move. Hunt, not really, because Hunt's not worth that much. So, obviously the higher valued asset is going to be the must move, and Hunt is just kind of if I'm stuck with him, I'm stuck with him.
Yeah, maybe you keep him in your back pocket as a, if it's close and you're having
Well, I
trouble
would try to
convincing the other
trade
guy.
them this year before the year is over if you can.
Yeah. Kirk over Van says Ed.
Barely.
Trade Chubb, maybe trade Hunt, but I could see holding if you can't get the value.
Sounds exactly like what I said.
I'm pretty sure he's a free agent this year too, right?
No, he has one more year, but there's no dead cap. They could cut him, but I don't think they will.
Moon says, what are your thoughts on Calvin Ridley in Dynasty PPR? His value, is he a trade away or buy low?
I'll be honest, I am partial. Part of me is tired of talking about Calvin Ridley because I kind of feel like there have been a lot of people, and I can even slightly include myself in this group, who think that they know a lot more about another person's mental health than they do. What I will say is this: do not assume Calvin Ridley is ever coming back to the NFL.
Yeah.
I don't want to put a percentage chance on that, but I'm starting to lean that Calvin Ridley has played his last NFL game. So he's a hard avoid for me.
Yeah, it feels a lot like Andrew Luck.
I wish I could talk to him and tell him how much of a difference he's made in. I'm sure this wouldn't be a consolation to him, but I wish I could talk to him and tell him how much a difference he's made in like the perception of mental health in our society. But I'm not sure that would make him feel better, honestly. So I just kind of feel for him. But, at the same time, fantasy football is a game. It's going to continue. And, if I'm giving you advice, I'm going to tell you to avoid him.
Yeah, I agree. Ed's not sure you can trade him. And
there's been no point
to get something, but
there's been no point in trading him now because I think most people have assumed he's not coming back this year. And his value was down because we're scoring points right now, as Dynasty Outhouse would say. And he's not scoring points right now. So his value is down. I would say the day the offseason starts, I would trade him away that day because every day he doesn't come back, his value is going to continue to decline.
It's true.
I am actually legitimately leaning that Calvin Ridley never plays in the NFL again. Seriously. I'm leaning that way. That's how I feel at this time.
And fair or not fair, he's never going to have
people will it's extremely unfair
ever again.
But I also understand it. I understand it. We talk about it on this show all the time. Availability is the best ability in fantasy football. And he's been unavailable for this whole season. And something that was unforeseeable and unpredictable. You could not have seen it coming. I wrote an article the week he, made his post that I thought he was one of the best buys in Dynasty football. I did not see it coming. So when you have someone who's done that in the past, how can you rely on them in Dynasty? You just can't. So I would sell him immediately. The day the offseason starts, he would be off my team that day.
Ed says leave the league if they did a midseason rule change. Commish said the rule wasn't clear.
Yeah. This is such a tough situation.
Yeah, no league vote. Commish rule is Buddy got the other buy is 8-4.
You can't have a league vote on this. That only makes it worse.
Like I said, the best case scenario, you find somebody that you trust that you think is but there's a lot of information.
This just doesn't sound like that's going to be a solution here. This just sounds like someone's going to be upset situation.
PJ says James Winston is trash. Yeah, but I think he's going to start for somebody next year.
Yeah, given the quarterback landscape, I would bet on him being a week 1 starter. Yes, I would.
Ed, could sell off all.
You could do that.
Hard in 2022.
You want to stick it to them, you could do that. I mean, it is what it is. The problem with Dynasty, you're always going to have these kind of disputes. And, the good news about today's world is you can go on Twitter. You can find somebody fill that orphan immediately. You don't have a problem with
that. By Nico Collins.
Oh, no. I agree. This is actually a great idea. I totally agree.
We like our very first show after the draft, we were like 2022 Nico Collins. We even said the offseason is when that's what we should buy.
I wrote an article about it too. Yeah, no, I do love the talent. I really hope they get something at quarterback because it cannot be Davis Mills. But we'll see. the perception of the Texans as a franchise is so bad that they're in the same boat as Washington, which, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, obviously Deshaun Watson is already there and wants to leave. They're not in contention for a serious quarterback. So the only way they're going to get one is if they draft one and they're forced to go there.
I tell you what, I like their coach, man. I was a little iffy on that hire, but that team's playing hard. Look at the difference.
I don't like the coach. David Culley. I dislike him. He's just a little milk toast for me. It's a little, a little blah.
His team plays hard for him.
He just, no, I don't think they do. He actually feels like, what's the word? A lovable loser to me. Someone who can lose and you kind of still, he's a nice guy. He's losing. You know how Dan Campbell acts, how I want to see a losing coach act. He's losing, but I like the job that he's doing. He's clearly very upset that they're losing. Whereas David Culley is just like, oh, we lost again this week.
It makes sense that you would like the guy that puts on the show, and I would like the more understated guy. It makes sense that that's who we would.
I just don't like someone who gives me the perception that they're okay with failure. I don't like that. That won't work. I want someone who's upset about it. I want someone who's visibly and animated, upset that they're losing. That's why I've liked the coaching of Mike Tomlin lately. He's been very upset at the play of the Steelers, and I like that. He's not happy that his players are doing things that are bad.
Robert says he wants to know your thoughts on trade deadlines. Yes or no?
I'd say no trade deadline.
I think it's okay for the playoffs, but
I'd rather no trade deadline. But if there has to be one, I'm okay with that.
David says, yeah, my team is stacked. This is going back to that. Yeah, let's see. Ed says, I don't mind. Trade deadline for playoffs, kind of the same thing we were saying. But don't think they're necessarily in a good league. So yes, I think if you have trade deadlines, especially before the playoffs, that's just not a league I'm probably going to be. If I'm looking personally to cut about 10 dynasty leagues.
Oh, wow.
This is the kind of thing that I'm going to be looking at.
Yeah.
Ed says it's looking like Josh Allen will play this week.
Who thought Josh Allen wasn't going to play?
He went out and got dinner, played without the boot?
No. He went to a play. There's a picture on Twitter of him in an opera house or something. But Josh Allen was always going to play. We know that.
Josh Allen's not sitting out.
No, he's not sitting.
Caleb says flex full PPR, Dawson Knox, Penny, or Westbrook Ikine.
Okay, Westbrook Ikine is not a choice, but of the other two, it's actually very close. I'm going to lean with actually Knox. Penny's matchup is bad. I don't know if I want to put him in against the Rams. Yeah. I'm going to lean Knox. Knox was really good again, and now with Emmanuel Sanders out, I'm even more confident in Knox.
What a comeback for Knox, man. He went from being everybody wanted Buffalo to get a new tight end. They wanted Zach Ertz. They wanted them to draft somebody.
I mean, if you look at who's gained the most overall spots in my dynasty rankings, I mean, Dawson Knox has gained since the start of the season about 130 overall spots.
I believe it.
He might be the most. I don't know. I don't think there's Elijah Mitchell is the other one who's competing with him for the most spots.
PJ wants to know if I wrote the essay for him I won the bet. For those of you that don't know, before the season started, we made a bet, on Tyson Williams. I said that he would not lead the team in carries by the time they got to the bye week. He said they would. I was going to drink a Big Mac smoothie. I was going to blend it up in a blender and drink a Big Mac if Tyson Williams was leading the team in carries. And I told PJ he would have to make a video saying that I am the smartest fantasy analyst in the history of the world. If he was not, no, I did not write that, and I wouldn't write that, honestly. It was a lot of fun, and I'm glad I won the bet.
I love
That's good enough for me. The win is enough for me, PJ. Adam Callencarp, the homies, appreciate that.
Love you, Adam.
Nathan is asking a question: Spiller or Hall? Who do you like better? This is a good question for a few months from now. Yeah.
Give me a sec.
I don't have I don't have an opinion right now.
I will say that there's something coming out from DLF from the Devi team. So just
true. Yes.
Keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah, some love here. Ed says Deshaun Watson's going to play in 2022.
I don't know about that, but he's going to play soon.
Not a lot of smoke. Makes me think it's a pretty small fire.
The fire's pretty big, but there isn't that he's going to be banned for life evidence. That I don't think that exists. I think if that existed, we would know. So I think it's the smoke. This is a fire, but it's going to be more of a year. I think we've already kind of had a stealth year suspension. There could be another year suspension, but I think that's it.
So Houston was like, we're going to avoid this, but the way they've handled it almost feels like they could have been playing him all along.
Oh, they could have been playing him all along. But I actually think this is the kind of thing where he was like, you play me, I'm just going to throw interceptions on purpose.
Maybe. Yeah.
Like, I think that it was like, I'm not going to try. I'm just going to, is going to be bad. And unlike with Allen Robinson at wide receiver, if you have someone doing that at quarterback, it's just kind of a laughing stock. So I kind of think actually that's what's going on. She's like, well, I'll play if necessary. You won't like it. I actually think that is the conversation that went down between Watson and the Texans, and that's why he's not playing.
Adam, I think JJ is the obvious answer with Thielen injured. Justin Jefferson, as far as winning, being a fantasy playoff league winning.
Well, player. I mean, I would love to have Justin Jefferson on my team, but I don't know.
Yeah. I was good. I was thinking about Osborne, but man, he got saved by that long pass last week.
I like league winner.
Tyler Reeves, I have the 103 in a 12-team Dynasty Superflex. Javonte Williams, CMC, wide receivers Ridley. Target at 103.
Whoever's worth the most.
Yeah, we're going to get to that for sure. MT's not playing for the Saints. I agree with you, Ed.
I agree,
who is going to play? Are they going to have... Okay, outside of Alvin Kamara, is anyone on their roster, would they have an NFL job tomorrow if they released him?
No.
Troutman, maybe? Like, I guess that's the only one, but...
I mean, Tre'Quan Smith is a free agent at the end of the season. I actually think that Tre'Quan Smith is going to have an NFL job.
Maybe. None of these people are getting snaps on any other team.
Probably not. No.
Frustrating. Todd says Jakeem Grant will be a playoff hero.
No,
wow.
I can't go there. No.
He's electric with the ball in his hand.
He's electric, but I can't do it.
He was a Miami Dolphin guy.
I know.
Big on him with the Dolphins.
I cannot trust him.
No way. He's been super busy doing that for a long time now.
Not sure who he's talking about.
Maybe Michael Thomas. The Washington Rodgers.
We were talking about Aaron Rodgers renaming the Washington football team.
Yeah. Or like, who's Russell Wilson's wife? Maybe they can get him and like
Sierra?
Yeah, the Washington Sierras, maybe.
Yeah.
That rolls off the tongue a little bit.
Good luck with that.
Eric says, we still feeling like Saquon is dust after
was he good last week? I mean, if that's good, if that is cause for celebration, that tells you all you need to know. Mm-hmm. If that is cause for celebration, if that performance is, he's back, that tells you, I mean, Josh Jacobs and David Montgomery have had plenty of games on that caliber all year, plenty of them. And we're not valuing them at, a mid-second round starter pick. We're not. We're valuing them where they belong. And they're both younger than Saquon. Don't have the same injury history. So, I mean, yes.
Yes, still dust, says.
Still dust.
Says Tyler. I mean, he did, I guess... 16 carries, 64 yards, 3 catches, 31 yards. He got in the end zone, which I think is the only thing
that's all it is. I mean, is that line like that's not what you want even? I mean, that's just okay.
Yeah. Let me see. He has
I mean, what is that? Like 18 something fantasy points, like 18 and a half. I mean, if you're celebrating over 18 and a half fantasy points from your RB1, if that's like his boom week, then he's not an RB1.
It has been since week 16, 2019, since he's had 100 yards rushing.
Right. So this is what I'm saying. Like he's not the same player anymore. People can buy Saquon if they want, but you're sinking, money into a black hole.
In fact, this was the first time since week 17, 2019, that he had over 60 yards rushing.
Yeah, not good.
Open 24 hours made a obviously he's been hurt part of that time, but made a trade a few weeks ago, sent Michael Thomas and Corey Davis, got back Lockett, Beasley, Crowder, Patrick, 2023 second, 2022 third, 12-team full PPR, number 1 seed.
I mean, Lockett's come through.
Yes. I like everything on the other side of the trade. I mean, this is easy. You won this very easily, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so.
Yeah, Rob says really the same as Watson if they get back to the field, instant value. It's possible, but it's
Not
almost
true.
like people that were telling you to invest in Andrew Luck after he retired. They're like, oh, he's going to come back. It's almost like you kind of have to view them in that way, in my opinion.
Not true. It's not true. Ridley it's sad to say it. And, I hate to say it because it's, like I've told you, I don't even really like talking about Kevin Ridley because I have to be so against him.
Right.
Because I am against him from a game perspective. I don't want him on my team. But, as someone who's had, issues with mental health myself, I know that those can rear up again and again and again. They don't go away. So no, it's not if they get on the field, instant value recovery. That's true for Watson, but not Ridley. When Watson, the day Watson,
but not recovery.
The day Watson comes back, he will, I would assume, on that day, will have already served I think the suspension is coming, and I think he will have served it. The suspension will be served, and that matter will be closed. Mm-hmm. So once we get to that day, whenever that day is, his value, yes, well, of course it'll have been hurt by sitting out. I don't think people are going to value him like they did. But, his value will be what it will be moving forward because that issue will be in the past. With Calvin Ridley, I don't think that issue will ever be in the past because I think that there's just no guarantee that it's in the past. You don't know. We don't know him. I don't know him personally. He could come back and then he could play 5 more games and decide like, hey, this just isn't for me. Like my life would be better without football. I'm happier when I don't play. And then, more power to him. He could walk away from football. Yeah, he could walk away from football and, have a happy life that he might not have had otherwise if he had kept playing. And that's always going to be an extreme risk. So, no, Ridley's not the same as Watson. Ridley is a permanent avoid for me.
I don't think either one of them gets back to the value they had.
No, not Ridley at his age anyway. I mean, Ridley's already 27.
Certainly not a full recovery. There will be a value bump, but you're taking a risk that this day ever happens that they get back on the field.
Yeah, Ridley's much riskier than Watson because he's older than Watson, and wide receiver careers are so short compared to quarterback.
Quickly, Michael Thomas or him?
It's hard for me because I don't want either of these players.
Nico Collins. Give me Nico Collins.
I'm probably still taking Calvin Ridley, but I read another news report today that said that head coach Arthur Smith has no update on Calvin Ridley. And he's said, when we have an update on Calvin Ridley, we'll give it to you, which is very bad. So I'm going to move him down my rankings again.
D-Franchise, thank you guys for all that you do. Really appreciate it. Merry Christmas to you and your families.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that for sure. Thanks. And you pronounced the last name right. All right, good. How do you feel about Jacobs? Still so young. Josh
Jacobs is a plotter. I feel about him.
I mean, he's catching more passes this year.
But he's a plotter. I mean, a lot of players
bringing in Kenyon Drake for him to catch more passes for whatever.
Well, no, he caught his most passes the week after Kenyon Drake went out for the year. So that's not exactly. No, Jacobs is a plotter. Like he is competent on his volume. His efficiency has declined every year, with this year being the worst, if I'm not mistaken. So, but he's going to be their starter next year. He's only 23. He'll be 24 when the next season starts. He is what he is. But, when it comes to startup drafts, of course, I'm probably going to go another way. I'm probably not going to go to him.
On the season, he's actually getting on average like 4 targets a game. That feels like a lot for him.
Yeah, but he just doesn't do much on his rushes. He doesn't do much on his targets. He's just kind of, 3.7 yards.
Bad schedule every year. I don't know how. Okay, but every
I'm tired.
Year.
That's an excuse. 3.7 yards per carry. 6.4 yards a reception. 12. He only has 12 carries a game this year. His volume is down. I don't know. Like, why are we so impressed by this guy? He's a plotter, I think is the answer. But he's competent. He's not bad.
And young. Bad player. Still.
Yeah, he's not a bad player.
A month older than Najee.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs is the definition of, I think he's better than Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Mm-hmm. I think he's more competent. Clyde Edwards-Helaire has serious holes in his game. Whereas I think Josh Jacobs is, I trust him more.
Corey says Penny is one snap away. I don't even think he needs a snap to get an injury, unfortunately.
I'll be honest, though, every NFL player is one snap away from an injury.
He feels more likely than anyone.
He does, but I just want people to remember how fragile, all of these assets are. It's, blink of an eye.
Current fair value trade for Deshaun Watson.
If you're on a rebuilding team, you're not trading Deshaun Watson. Just wait for him to come back. Because, like I said, unlike Calvin Ridley, it's when, not if.
Because who are you trading him to? You're not trading him to somebody
no, you're not trading
right now. You might just hang on to him.
There were a lot of contenders that became rebuilders the day that Watson was out.
Mm-hmm.
But, you're not trading him. Just hold on to him.
Man, I hate that I'm going to answer this question the way I'm going to answer it, but thoughts on KJ Hamler next year? Has been sitting on my IR all season.
Doesn't deserve a roster spot.
Get rid of him. I hate it because I like Hamler.
Cut him. Clearly they don't have him in their plans because they signed Tim Patrick to $10 million a year. They obviously don't want Hamler.
I hate it. God, I hate it. I feel like Jacob smashed in his plus matchup, tough matchup like KC. KC's not been very good against the run. It's just that they scored and were up so much.
It's less that. It's just, he's right, though, generally about Jacobs, is that he does really well against weak defenses and kind of can't do anything against good ones.
Eric says, KTC says Watson is around a...
And what does that accomplish, selling Watson for that? So just don't do that.
I question KTC's values, but that's just me. I need to learn more about him.
I've never used KTC, and I probably never will.
Local liability, what's trade away value for Madison? More value to Cook owner, obviously, but curious. Try to get a second.
Well, now he's on the COVID list, so his value is less.
Yeah.
So
you should have traded him when he had value 2 weeks ago.
You should have traded him when you had the chance. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Future second's fine.
Yeah.
What's the highest you'd pay for Javonte Williams right now?
You cannot acquire Javonte. You can try. I'd be fine sending AJ Brown for Javonte Williams.
Okay. Kyle Pitts?
In no premium, yes.
Woo! Wow. Feels like Kyle Pitts is like the guy that has the most value of anybody.
He's lost some value.
Yeah, but
some value. He's lost some value.
Really was already losing value even when it's true.
That's true. He was already losing value.
I
also think that's making it worse. The fact that he didn't play well before he went out, I think, is making his value decline worse. It's not like he was really good. I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Javonte is so unattainable. Exactly.
He's unobtainable, but I don't know. Maybe people saw Melvin Gordon come back and there's a chance. I don't know. I would try. Worst thing is it's shot down.
Yeah. I remember I tried to trade Eckler for him a few weeks ago to Matt Pike.
Good luck with that. Yeah, good luck with that.
This was probably 5 or 6 weeks ago.
Yeah. You tried.
I tried. What do you do with Devontae Adams? Yeah, he's the one that we said. Another one we said.
Oh, yeah.
Get rid of him. And right now, if you can, honestly, if there's a contender and it's open in the playoffs, you could trade him. I might do it now, and then I don't have to worry about where he's going to sign in free agency. I don't have to worry about Aaron Rodgers. None of that stuff.
Just generally speaking, you'll never see me in a startup with my first 6 or 7 picks draft. I'm just never going to draft a wide receiver who's past the age apex. So you'll never see me draft a wide receiver, probably 29 or older, running back who's going to be 26 or older when the season starts. You're just not going to see me draft those players. Not with my first. I'll draft them later, but not with my first 6 or 7 picks. Just not going to do it.
We'll wrap up with just a few more questions. This is probably the most overtime we've done here in a while. Eric Lime says, depends if he stays in Green Bay with Rodgers, try to sell if you can, or just ride him in the sunset if you're contending.
This offseason will be the sell moment. And if you don't sell him this offseason, you're stuck with him.
Penny is special in the injury department.
He's one of those people who's been injured more than almost anyone else, but I wouldn't say he's special.
James Robinson, any additional thoughts on his situation?
No, other than that, I still believe that James Robinson is the starter over Travis Etienne next year.
He's good. Yeah. I think
it's going to be an ugly committee where you can't start either one.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's I just hope Urban Meyer's not there. God.
He better not be.
What would you give for Diggs pick-wise and maybe a wide receiver back included?
Given what people's values are on Diggs, the odds I'm trading for him are 0.
Yeah, I've had a league where I just can't get rid of him at this point.
I don't want him.
I waited too long to sell him.
Yeah, very overvalued. He was very overvalued for a bit, and now people are realizing he's 28 on a team that spreads the ball around, and that 2020 was a massive outlier, and that the rest of his career was very accurate.
Oh, gosh.
Where he's a borderline wide receiver 1.
Would you prefer Waddle?
Oh, not even close.
Okay.
Easily Waddle. But I said that 5 weeks ago.
Are there any rookie QBs coming out better than Jalen Hurts? Also, does Minshew get a job ever again?
Better than Jalen Hurts, potential-wise, probably. Right now, no. And does Minshew get a job ever again? Ever is a long time. I would say there's probably going to be another moment in his life where he's a bridge quarterback for more than just a few games. So I'd say, again, the answer to that question was sort of. I don't think he's ever another franchise quarterback, but I do think he might have a couple of Tyrod Taylor stints over the next few years.
Interesting. He's actually signed through next year. I didn't realize that.
He is, but I suspect that there's going to be interest on the trade market.
And they've shown they'll make the trades. Yeah. I mean, that's part of the QB market is part of why I think Jalen Hurts is a decent investment in.
Yeah, I think that someone trades for Gardner Minshew. Could be Houston.
Could be. Rob Downs, week 10 rebuild. I traded CMC.
Oh, I love it.
Chuba for Javonte. Wow.
Yeah, you can't get Javonte for CMC straight up anymore. So.
No. Nice job. Diggs owners want to first, but I wouldn't pay that now.
Yeah, he's gotten to the point even in one QB where I'm probably not. I'm not giving 2 first for Diggs anymore.
Start 2: Mooney, Osborne, Ayuk, Pittman.
Let's see. Definitely Pittman, and I'll go with Ayuk.
Yeah, Pittman and Ayuk. I feel like Pittman is right on that borderline of set it and forget it type.
Yeah, Pittman actually I don't have Pittman that high against New England. Pittman at 21, Ayuk at 23, Mooney at 27, and Osborne down at 40.
I kind of think Pittman could have a really good game because I kind of think that they're going to sell out to stop JT.
Sure, but it's pretty easy decision anyway.
How much more value does Kamara have? Never hear anybody mention him in the top running back conversation.
Yeah, just not going to be a player that I'm going to pick in startups this offseason. Just 27 already. Probably just not going to start my team off that way. But, he still has value. Definitely still has value.
He's such a good running back.
Yeah.
But yeah, dynasty value is not up there.
It's not, yeah.
Last question. What do we try to move Kittle for this offseason?
Why move Kittle? Just hold on to him.
Yeah, I think you're just hanging on to.
Yeah, I think I don't know what I'm saying. Overvalue, but I put a high value on the difference-making tight ends, so probably not selling Kittle.
Yeah, he should be worth 2 first, but I wouldn't pay that. Talking about Kittle,
probably not.
Let's talk about
Kamara. Yeah, I probably wouldn't pay that either.
You could trade down to Hawkinson or Andrews. I'd try to that.
Oh, you can definitely get
down
Hawkinson.
To Andrews.
And Andrews is trading up.
I think Andrews is I would take Andrews over him.
Andrews is currently the tight end 1 and is 2 years younger. So I would take Andrews over him.
We are going to shut it down here in just a second. Thanks for my question. You're welcome, King Henry. Thank you for sending the question in.
No, Kittle's not a luxury. Goddard is not trustworthy.
Last question, Dynasty 12-man PPR. Would you sell Ridley for Pittman as a rebuilder? Yes.
Yes, easily. No matter what my situation is, I'd Pittman easy.
You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in to Ask DLF, Taco Tuesday, Waffle Wednesday.
Whatever,
if you're watching this later on Thursday, then great. I appreciate it. Tyler, any last words?
No, I just appreciate everyone for watching. We'll be here throughout the playoffs and then to start the off season.
Follow us on Twitter. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, all those good things, and we will see you